Welcome to Better Together. This week I wanted to talk about expectations, and specifically my thinking on expectations and how it's evolved over time. I used to think about expectations as something to be feared, to hide from expectations, to not allow them to be because of the way that they could disappoint you. You basically tell yourself not to get excited about something, not to expect too much, and that way you won't be disappointed. It's kind of like a protective coping mechanism, if you will. And so that has worked for me to an extent, but it also has limited me. I find that I don't get excited about things, or I try not to expect a lot, and then it's harder to be excited about things and anticipate new experiences without downplaying it so that you don't get hurt. So when it comes to expectations with other people and seeing that people are all so different, and this is something I just feel like I'm getting to a new appreciation of, and that is that there are so many different ways of doing so many different things, and that sometimes there are better ways of doing things and less better ways, but a lot of the times my expectations of how someone else should be acting or treating me are solely based on my experiences and the way I see things. And I think it puts an unnecessary amount of pressure on other people, whether they feel it or see it or any of that. It creates an unhealthy dynamic because here I am doing certain things, expecting people to react a certain way. And when they don't react that way, for any number of reasons, I find myself either angry or frustrated or disappointed or all those different kind of reactions. And sometimes those people have no idea that I'm frustrated by the way they're responding to me, simply because I'm taking my own expectations and imparting them onto the way they should be behaving. And that's unhealthy. It's unfair to them. It's unfair to me. And it creates this circular experience where I'm constantly being disappointed and then hoping people respond differently. And I'm realizing that has to do with me, not really them. So there's two ways of dealing with that for me. One is it's setting healthy boundaries. It's limiting the amount other people can affect me when in the past they've behaved a certain way, allowing myself not to be so affected by them in the future by limiting their ability to do that thing again. And the other way is to allow people to be who they are and not be projecting how I think they should be responding, but be more accepting of the way that people are and just control what I can do. Having expectations of what other people do can also bleed over into having expectations of what I believe I should be able to do myself. So that's a third area, which I guess I didn't think of, but that's the third area, is expectations of myself, expecting myself to be able to handle certain things, expecting myself to be able to respond appropriately to certain situations, expecting myself to be able to perform in certain scenarios. And that is another pressure, because suddenly I realize that my own expectations of myself are unrealistic, that they are at such a high level that when I inevitably fail, it is a disappointment. Wow, I can't speak today. When I inevitably fail, it's a disappointment to myself. That is a weird type of disappointment, when you're discouraged and frustrated by yourself and your own abilities and reactions and performance. And I think that's a really important place to get to, is recognizing that, first of all, I'm not perfect. And to expect myself to perform at a perfectionistic level is a bit unrealistic. And what that allows then is to still shoot for a high standard and strive for that and work towards that, But when I fail, it's not a reflection of, wow, this is a disappointment because I had these high expectations of myself and I'm such a failure now. It is a realization that I am fallible and I have weaknesses, and I have weaknesses that are real and they're not just imaginary, or things that can just be fixed, like that. And it gives so much more breathing room to someone like me who tries to derive value and worth from performance. And then it allows me to also be so much more forgiving to others and allow them to be who they are. And suddenly there's this realization that people are individuals, they're have weaknesses, they have strengths, they're growing in areas, they have areas they have yet to even realize they need to grow in. And it allows for a community experience of acceptance and safety and opportunity for growth. See, the thing about expectations is that so often they're unrealistic. It's okay to have a certain anticipation of something, but so often in our minds, it's going to play out a certain way, and that certain way is so unrealistic to what probably could or will happen. And so that is where the disappointment comes from. It's not wrong to just expect something. It's wrong when they're so unrealistic that we're inevitably going to be disappointed. And we realize that when we start to articulate them to someone. Someone's like, well, do you really think that's the way it's going to be? And you kind of are able to think about it and be like, yeah, maybe not. So that's why I think that is an important goal for me to focus on for this week and ongoing, is to not remove expectations, but think realistically about what I should be expecting from other people, from myself, from situations, and not say I can't be excited about something, but remove the unrealistic aspects. And that means realizing that people are human, they are fallible, they're going to make mistakes, they're going to underperform at times. And that's true for you, that's true for everyone, that's true for me. And I think that allows for more acceptance in a community experience. So that's my goal for this week, this month, this year. This defining of who I am is realizing that more and more. So I hope this was an encouragement to you, that you see that for yourself and for others in your life, and that you can impart that as well, as part of who you are and how you relate to other people. So enjoy this week. Communicate with other people your goals and your expectations, because I think that really helps with understanding them for yourself. And remember, we're better together, and it's about progress, not perfection. I'll see you next week.